Good evening and welcome to the first episode, Season 1, Episode 1 of our podcast, Xavier's Unplugged. Today we have two great alumni here with us today, Shadrach and Ryan. So begin, can we have some small introduction about you guys?
Yeah, okay, I think I can get started. My name's Ryan. Both of us graduated from the 2019 batch. Ever since then, I think I've been involved in a lot of different industries. Out of college, started in like pharmaceutical consulting, then worked a little more with other startups, and then worked with Urban Club for a while. Primarily handling, say, marketing, product out there. And this was never a path that we originally planned on, but I think it happened kind of organically. And now both of us are involved with GradGuide, with me looking more at the marketing and product side of things. And I'll let Shadrach take up the rest.
Yeah, I'm Shadrach and 2019 batch. Of course, I got placed in Zomato after BMS, and that's how my career started. Zomato for about 3 years as a account manager / business analyst. Post that, I moved to Flipkart. I was looking after business development, so it was a huge category, a lot of category management, and then jumped right into GradGuide and never saw it coming. And it just so happened. But we can always dig more deeper as we go into how exactly.
So how did you guys exactly meet? Were you guys friends from college, or did you guys meet again after college?
Yeah, I mean, we had Shadrach joined in the second year. So he first year, I mean, obviously you meet different people, you make a set of friends, everything. Shadrach was a wildcard entry in the second year. And that's why our faculty also remember Shadrach very well. And then the same friend group kind of made sure we
some friends just stuck along along the way. So BMS, only all 5 of us are from BMS, so we just stuck around. We used to meet once or twice a year at max.
Yeah.
But then how did you guys think of each other for GradGuide?
That is an interesting story.
I mean, short stories we didn't, but it just happened by chance. I think, as I said, we meet once or twice a year. So one of our friends, again a BMS grad, only was down from his job, and we just thought of meeting for breakfast. And I think the day before that, I was really I had already finished. This was in May, so I had already finished 10 months of sorts. Was still kind of figuring out a lot of synergies with the team and how to take certain things forward. So then on a breakfast, I mean, we met, we just started talking. Shadrach was thinking of going abroad at some point, so I was like, why don't you come in for a counseling? And that counseling ended up being a recruitment call by accident. And then I think he was also advising for a while. And over the course of advising is when he came in and joined in. But
so I always tell people that I went in for a counseling and I came out counseling right. So that's actually how it started. And I also make a joke that we went to this place called Fables and it turned the tables. So I think I really was looking to go abroad, and 3 of my siblings are abroad. So I thought, there was family also wanted me to go. So I thought it was the right thing to do. So I went in for a counseling, and that's how it all began.
But instead of sending him abroad, you somehow kept him here.
I think so. I mean, I think he was also looking for what next in some ways. And I needed help in a couple of areas of sales, and that was his forte and is his forte. So I think more than him asking me questions, I started asking a lot of questions. And then over the time that he slowly started getting involved, then I would give him updates like, hey, I did this, this is going well, this is that. So then naturally even he wanted to get more involved and see how things are progressing along. But I think that's just how we ended up taking this forward.
For a while I was doing a job as well as doing a little bit of GradGuide. but now it's just
Now it's just here.
Now
Yeah.
just GradGuide.
So you have left Flipkart
yeah,
completely?
officially, yes.
Oh, okay. We had done a little research about you guys.
Oh, damn.
But your LinkedIn showed that you're still in Flipkart.
Yeah, that needs to get updated. That's
I mean,
That's still
it
happening.
was in process.
Yeah,
It was supposed
in process.
to happen sometime this week.
So now let's like rewind a bit. So like the first day you came to Xavier's. So is there something like you feel like you should have had a different approach or something you feel you should have done differently?
I think for me, what I could have done differently was be here in the first year. So, of course, I joined in the second year. So, of course, friends groups, everything was already formed. So, you're just walking into a place where, everything is already set. So, if you're asking from a career standpoint, I'd say, I think just keep doing internships. That really helps. Like, extracurricular, be part of all events. I think that's one thing I did, and I don't regret it till date. Keep meeting new people, networking. I think network better. I think that's one thing that will really help you all in anywhere, any career. Keep networking, keep meeting people, and keep doing internships. That will really help you actually be a good career for yourselves. I think that's my
Yeah, no, I think like interesting point that he said, like networking also in college, it was taught to us as a concept, like, okay, you need to network with people and get like exchange business information, this, that. But what we've learned along the way is also like it's very organic. You just go to events, you do these things at college. The networking doesn't have to be like you go and meet people in corporate or anything. It's just meeting people, and then somewhere down the line, I mean, you never know, they might come and use like, hey, yeah. So it's I think mostly it's just like, yeah, I think I could have used I think the time in college is one thing, but time post college is also, you get a whole chunk of your day. Yeah, I think using that a little better, using that to do internships, taking up roles here and there, I think that helps build a lot of character.
I think like college fest especially is like a very important part of college, and that can really help you meet a lot of people, characters. And you'd never know, who you might actually click with in all senses. So keep doing college fest. I think that's one thing. Like for me especially, logs at CND was a big part of my journey, and logs is like a community. We're still in touch. We do like feed-a-thons, like going around feeding like the poor or so it's interesting things that you keep meeting people along the way. So I think just network,
Yeah,
meet people.
meet people.
In order to network, just meet people.
Meet people. That's it.
So if GradGuide wasn't your career path, if it wasn't in your cards, what would you be?
Oh damn, don't push him away so hard. It's like,
Is that question for me or mine?
No, it's for both of you, definitely.
I think you should take it.
for me, I think if it was not, so I think as a student also I was looking to go abroad. So I gave my GMAT. I had more or less everything ready. While I was working at a company, right at the point that I left, I was offered also another role in something I wanted to do more on the product side of things. So I think I would be like, I think I would be in the same company as of now. I would still be at Alumni, but in terms of, I would also look to go abroad maybe in the next year or so, if GradGuide was not in the cards, no worry. But yeah, I don't think anyone has their entire career figured out in their 20s. I think the most important thing is just exploring what fits and what you can do. So right now, I think what I believe is that GradGuide is what we are meant to do. So yeah, that's all I could say.
I think Ryan spoke for me also in some ways. Like, of course, we've already covered that I was to go abroad and study, but yeah, had GradGuide not happened, possibly I'd still be at Flipkart or another corporate. Yeah, more or less. If GradGuide hadn't happened, or maybe in a university abroad studying, if Ryan would have guided me.
I think the main thing is also like we always I think both of us have also discussed that starting something of our own has always been in the cards. We just didn't think it would be this soon. Probably like I definitely feel like there could be areas I would have learned more and implemented. I'm sure even Shadrach.
I never dreamt education related for job.
Yeah.
Maybe a small time stand-up comedian. Just kidding. But yeah, something along those lines.
But yeah, I think more or less sticking with our roles in what we're doing. But maybe somewhere down the line we would do something of our own.
So you mentioned exploring.
Hmm.
So most of us have this thing that we are Gen Z. Definitely, we want to keep on exploring over and
Of
over.
course.
But there are some people who say you should stick to one company and then build it up there. So what are your takes on that?
At least what I believe is that you should stay, but at least stay for a year or two or something, because honestly, you don't learn everything that you need to in like a couple of months. There's a lot that you learn. You learn implications of your actions if you stay only for a longer time. Otherwise, it's just that you've done something and then you leave. So you don't see the fallout from it. So from that perspective, I think staying in a company at least for in your career, in your early 20s and all, for like 1 to 2 years, then maybe looking at something else, because it's very rare you'll find the first fit, like the perfect fit at the first try. Some people do, but I think exploring different industries, roles is important in terms of learning how to work with other teams, and secondly also learning what you're passionate about. So I'd say that's my advice. But yeah, my advice would also not be to maybe do a couple of months and leave and like not gain anything of value. And also maybe you don't have to stay for like 5 years, 4-5 years or something in here. So bit in the middle, I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah, same. Like I believe, I am very strongly opinionated on the fact that don't stay at one place for a very long time. I think people tend to get too comfortable, like, and once you're in a comfort zone, you don't really grow, and it's like very stagnant or monotonous. So I feel like people should evolve, keep exploring new roles. Even every company you change also helps you learn a lot more than you learned previously. So that is something that you'll only learn on the job. Staying at one company will give you that comfort. You'll be in that, you'll get more work from homes and things like that, and you'll just get too comfortable. If you really want to learn, you really want to grow fast also, I personally believe that stepping out of your comfort zone is only going to help you. So that would be my piece of.
Yeah, so placements are not the end.
Yeah,
It's just the start.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just the start.
So both of you mentioned that you guys weren't exactly into career counseling. So how did you guys basically gain the skills and the expertise to match that? And because you started it from scratch.
So we have experts, obviously, that have been there for a while. But I think the fresh new perspective that we've been able to add is that while it's important for people who are experienced also to be there, it's also important for people who are current students or who are going through the process, who are exploring their careers. So much has changed over the last couple of years. There are so many new career paths. There's so many blends of education also that you can get in. It's not very static in terms of, okay, you do engineering, you do this, you do this, business, you do this. It's a blend of things that you can do in terms of international education as well. So that's something that at least from our perspective, we've been able to understand. So we're able to work with these career counselors and education counselors in tandem, so that we make sure that the student is not just getting a cookie cutter, like go for IT, but they're getting, hey, go for IT with this specialization in AI/ML, or in this Masters of IT, you have the option of getting in like cloud computing or maybe some more data. So just bringing out those aspects is important, and I think that's where we add value. But then obviously experts who have been there for a while can give you a direction on where to go. So it's a bit of blend of both.
So process-wise, of course, people who have more experience tend to understand things a little better. But we get all kinds of students. Some students can really relate to elderly people, but some students can only relate to younger people. So when, like, let's say there are students who can really relate to what Ryan is saying, because Ryan can relate back to current scenarios of the things that are going on in real time. Like Ryan would be somebody who would say like, yeah, you know what, I understand that there are issues in certain countries, so why not you look for these countries only? So things like that. So there's a lot of relatability factor that comes in with younger counselors. So that is something that really helps. So yeah, I think we kind of fit in that sense. But like I said, all kinds of students. For some students, something clicks. For another student, something else clicks.
Yeah.
So it all depends on from personality to personality, I think.
Yeah, but we have the coverage at least to
Yeah.
get all kinds and different kinds of perspective, and we make sure that we are still in touch with like even people who are all. One advice that we always give is reaching out to people who have already gone, because not just listening to us as consultants, we can give you alumni, our students that have gone, but you can think that there's a sense of bias in that maybe they'll be overly favorable about us and of going abroad. But the most important thing is you reaching out to students that have done a certain course, that are maybe working already. Nothing like we or even experts will not be able to give you the clarity that students that have already gone there can give you clarity on. So while we can guide, it's always important to have like a surround sound of perspectives.
So how do you like gauge, and like when a student comes in and you have the first talk with them, how do you gauge as to who will be the the perfect person whom you should allot for the counseling? Like should it be someone of an elder age or someone who's more gently?
I think I wish we had the answer to that.
Yeah, it's very tricky. In fact, we were recently also trying to figure out like we wish we had the answer to that. It's a little difficult, but I mean you hit and miss. Like for some students, initially like when the team speaks to them itself, they figure out that okay, maybe like if you've been in the system long enough, you know that okay, for this particular student, this counselor would really do well.
Yeah.
So it's all about, I would say, judging personality and trying to understand. Also depends. Some counselors have certain expertise in certain countries. So basis that also we could figure out ways to assign the right students to the right counselors.
But it's a group effort. Like it's not going to happen just by one person doing your entire thing. You need a plethora of perspectives to actually understand what is the best for you and what's the best for maybe the student in that sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now this question is for you, Ryan.
Oh, damn.
So this is about computer train. So how did that whole transition take place? Like how did you have your first talk with your dad as from
First talk
computer
with your
train?
dad.
Yeah, the first talk has happened and it's not ended yet. So while I've digressed, I mean the first conversation with my father was more around like what we can do differently, what we should do as well, and where we're lagging behind in the market. Because also business was, I wouldn't say it was at its peak, because you have so many competitors who are doing well digitally, and you kind of get eaten up by the surround sound. So in that sense, I feel like I had a responsibility to step in and shake it up a little bit. And yeah, I think he took it well, and ever since then he's taken it well. I don't think we've stepped on each other's toes. Obviously, different perspectives are there, but I think now with both of us involved, I think he has the confidence that we know what we're doing. So yeah, I think that's what.
You want to talk about the name change?
Oh, the name change.
Why
Oh.
computer train?
Oh yeah. So
Rebranding.
I mean, the bit of a history is that Computer Train started as a computer training center. Started in 1987, and it was primarily, I would say, his career kind of mirrors a lot of students also that want to go abroad, because he came from, say, a small town in Kerala, and he learned, like, he came to Bombay, he learned IT in like 85, 86. That time it was just a textbook. They used to do coding by writing in textbooks. So he started this computer training center, and that ran for quite some time, and then we actually moved to Canada in mid 2000s. And then obviously he saw that there were students coming in, but they were not guided as well, or maybe they didn't have a full perspective on how to go abroad. So that's why we came back. And then he ended up going down the study abroad route. But yeah, now when you take it digitally, if I tell you computer, you're going to think like, hey, it's computers or IT or something. So one thing we knew, it wasn't feasible to operate with the same brand name. And luckily, since we had operated locally, a brand change was feasible. That no proper brand equity was really hurt in the process. That's why we kept GradGuide and buy Computrain in a lot of places. So people still recognize Computrain, but GradGuide, I think we brought that. We thought of it. I mean, it's been in the works since a while, but we thought of it also because the whole guidance aspect is what's so important. Anyone and everyone can help you place an application or make an SOP or something like that. They'll charge you a ton for it, but the whole process is also very emotionally stressful. So just someone to be guiding you through that entire process, I think that's something we wanted to bring, at least with our name change and our change in offerings as well. So yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it. I know I probably answered more of your questions than you have told me, but hey, it makes for good content. Yeah.
So where was Computrain briefly located?
It operated in Bombay. So we just worked primarily with just a few colleges. We used to go to colleges, give seminars, and then come back. But yeah, we are based in Andheri, and GradGuides also continue to be based in Andheri. In the same place as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next one is for you, Shadrach. So,
Pleasure.
so when did you decide completely like that you are gonna put the papers in and I'm gonna leave Flipkart completely and I'm gonna dedicate my contacts now to GradGuide? So like career-wise, how do you think you actually took that decision? Because I think when you are in like a big reputed company like Flipkart, it's like you're very comfortable there.
Yeah,
as well.
So yeah, I think it was quite a big move. Like you said, I was at a decent position as well, and yeah, I think what really helped was a transition period where, of course, none of us ever thought that parents usually say you don't work with friends, and that's something that both of us also believe. Prior to this, I had done a small stint of entrepreneurship with another friend, so that hadn't worked out really. That was like briefly for like 3 months or so. So I never wanted to do it again because there's always the risk factor of losing a good friend. So yeah, primarily it was not on the books at all. But what really helped was taking that time. Like we spent a lot of time together in like a month or so, just trying to understand each other's work ethic, more of work ethic, because we've known each other personally for a while. So values, ethics, everything else was like well known. But yeah, and like Ryan mentioned earlier, always wanted to do something of my own, but never had the risk appetite to do. So that's when I decided that don't want to continue with Flipkart anymore. And yeah, it just came very naturally, the men's footwear. So earlier, I was getting people shoes. Now I'm getting them shoes so they can fly abroad.
Oh.
Wow. Punchline, yeah.
So how did you get your skills like e-commerce and data strategy, right? That is what you work in Flipkart. So do you think that is helping you anywhere in GradGuide?
Oh, I think Ryan can answer that.
Yeah, maybe I should use a couple of those skills right now. I haven't thought of that.
I mean, to be honest, it's helping a lot because I think what Flipkart taught me was build fast. I think they're a very fast moving company. So I think that's one thing I've implemented, like build fast, just move fast. And Flipkart really taught me to build bigger teams. So that is really helping us along the way. So we keep continuously evolving with team, etc. So that has really helped. So maybe not e-commerce specifically, but like from understanding what it is, like what kind of digital presence you want to build, what kind of team, how quickly can you build a team, how fast you can, build a company. So from that perspective, it has really helped. And of course, we do use data a lot to make much more informed decisions. So it has really helped. Like, I have no doubts about it. Like, my experience at Zomato plus Flipkart has really helped us along this.
So let's just like come back to GradGuide. So we were sitting and doing the research for GradGuide, and it said that you provide free career counseling.
Yeah.
So how does exactly your business work, and what's like the revenue model?
Yeah, so I think primarily when you think about it, one problem that we set out to achieve when we got along with GradGuide is basically everything in the market is very like, okay, either it's very inexpensive or like it's you pay 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs for someone to make your application and like submit it to universities and everything. So the main problem that we wanted to tackle is how do you make it much more affordable to a point where it's free as well. But one thing to know in this industry, or even for students to be cognizant about, is that so the whole idea with that is basically that, for example, if you want to go to Australia, you have to go through a study abroad partner because they file this statement known as a genuine student statement. So we collect like ITRs, we make sure we write your statement of visit. We also look at, say, what is the reason you're going to study abroad. So the universities work directly with us to make sure that the student is genuine and they are going there to study and to contribute to the economy, and not like just go there, then cancel their degree and then work illegally or something like that. Because this is a big problem that's been around in this industry for a while. So that's why in those cases, anyone that goes to Australia, technically, whoever you work with, they never need to charge you at all. Because what happens is, because we do like so much of the back end work for the university then gives us a processing fee for your application. So in that sense, we were thinking like, there's no point to charge the student as well if you are anyway helping them out with their application. You might as well allow them to come get free services up to a certain point, and then we would be working with the university to get that processing fee. So in that sense, that's how we stay afloat in some ways. So I don't wanna keep rambling on.
But I'm glad you brought up this question. Like, we get this question a lot. Like, free. Like, is it people get like, is this a scam? I'm a little skeptical. Like, but we've genuinely never charged any student so far. I think the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is, I feel when we can help a student who really wants to go abroad, really build a career for themselves, when we can do it at an affordable rate, why not? And I think that's one thing that they both are very clear on. We don't want to particularly start charging students for, especially we've been working with like 500 to 600 universities. So it's not like we are deciding your university. It's more like you decide the university you want to go to, and we'll send you there. It's just like a very smooth process. But sometimes it's like, oh, should we charge? Because people really are questioning why you are in charge, like you asked. But I think more or less we're clear that we don't want to start charging students.
Yeah, maybe we just market it in a different.
Yeah, I mean, does it not come across as, it's like we've never charged a student anything? Like, the entire process is free. Does it not come across that way?
No, it's not that. I would probably say that it's the Indian mindset. Jo mehenga hai,
I know,
acha hai.
exactly. That's
Exactly.
true.
That is
Hey, you never know. Now after this point, we might have to. But
So in the previous segment, we talked about how they built GradGuide and all the things related to their business. Now we'll talk about what the students also actually want to hear about. That is, let's first start with placements. So we slightly touched about it in the first segment as well. But for placements, what do you think students today, who are in their third year or who are about to graduate, they should have like the skills which is relevant today. Like if you are to recruit one of us, then what would be the skills you're actually looking for?
Interesting question. You wanna go?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think there's two aspects to it. Maybe placements. So, like, depends on the company size, right? So, you have a PwC, you have any big consulting company coming in. There's case interviews, there's guesstimates, there's also group discussions that you'll have to be a part of. So then my advice would be a slightly different one. But now if you ask whether if GradGuide is coming to hire, no. So GradGuide, I think, like, or any company of our size, I think what we're looking at more is, since we know you're freshers, we're looking more at like adaptability, just like general vigor, how many fresh ideas can you bring to the table, and also like what are you trying to get out of your career, like, because a company like GradGuide or a company of our size would primarily look at people who are like looking to jump a few steps in their career, and like they don't want a proper 9 to 5 or something. It's more like, okay, I want to put in enough and more time. It's going to help the company grow, and it's going to help you as an individual grow. So I think when you're looking at our size, that's what we're looking at. But if you were to look at placements and bigger companies coming in, like for me, I got placed at ZS, which was consulting. So a lot of case interview prep that we had to do, unstructured, structured. I think the most important thing is having a good handle on data, in the sense, if you have tables or if you have anything to refer to, just really try to understand what exactly those data points are and how they relate to each other. That helps a lot in case interviews as far as I've seen. Guesstimates, I think one thing in guesstimates is nobody's ever looking for an answer. Like, no interviewer is ever looking for you to have the exact right answer. Everyone is looking for your thought process. So when you break down guesstimates, always also break down like what you're thinking to the interviewer. Just say that, okay, thinking of Bombay is this size, so this portion could have this certain TG of people. So they're just trying to look at how you're exploring ideas. They are never really looking at a exact correct answer or something. So from that perspective, it's like, that's a little more unstructured thinking. Try like practicing random questions, like, I don't know, how many t-shirts would schools need in Bombay. So just try thinking of random ideas and try to estimate like what demand for that or what a size for people in that sense could be. But if it's guesstimates, case interviews, I think those are my main 2 points. And lastly is group discussions. I don't think I have prepped for like group discussions as such. It's like it's mainly about getting your perspective across and just being a little opinionated. I think that helps in at least standing out from the group and making sure an interviewer notices where you're coming from and like what your kind of personality could also be like. So yeah, I think that's more or less it. Then there may be aptitude tests. That is all up to you. I don't think I can really help with that, but yeah, that's all up to you and your prep with like tests. But that's all my advice would be.
I I truly believe placement times could be a little stressful for students. First of all, do take placement seriously, in the sense it will define your career. Like when people say that your first job will not really define your career, I feel like it generally does. Like your first job is actually going to take you to your second job, and then your second job will take you to your third job, unless you like are willing to take a pay cut or you're willing to, adjust and move a lot. Like either you move cities, countries, things like that. Otherwise, your first job is really going to define. But don't let placements define your self-worth. That's one thing. Like people really take it too seriously that, oh, I didn't get this, this person got that. No, it doesn't matter. Where you start is not where you're going to be. That's one thing for sure. I think that's what I've learned, what I've seen when we passed out of college or graduated, people were in different phases of life, and now where those people are, you'll be surprised to know. We are also surprised. I mean, so don't let placements define your self-worth. I think one thing that really helps is prior experience. Anyone who's coming to hire looks at experience. So for example, if you're saying, if I'm going to as GradGuide, if you're coming to hire, I would consider experience. For example, if I'm hiring for digital marketing, so if you've done something like this, like what we're doing right now, this is something that really shows that you already have some experience. You've tried building something, so that would help. So that's why I say keep doing internships. Internships really count. Like as an employer, that's what we're looking for. Even if you have some experience, you'll stand out compared to someone else. You could be really smart, you could have a lot of book knowledge, but if you don't have practical knowledge, it doesn't help an employer. And I think over time you realize that book knowledge is not really going to help an employer. So that's what we look for. We look for high intent, high ownership. So that's why I say, okay, if you've done events in college, you held positions here, then you also have taken ownership, right? So ownership really counts. So taking something from 0 to 1, if we can rely on you to do that, then that's someone we're looking for. So more or less, you have a lot of access to do a lot of things. You have access to take up positions in college, fest. Like I was unfortunate to join in the second year, but after second year, I did all the fests I could possibly do. Like, I didn't miss out on any. I've done Ithaca, I've done Jan Fest, I've done Malaya, Zephyrus, everything. Zephyrus, important fest. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's my advice. Keep doing fests, keep doing internships. That's gonna really help you.
So this is like for the set of students who actually decide to sit for placements, but there are some set of students who actually decide they want to study or go abroad. But if you go abroad, there is this fear, like considering all these restrictions which is going on, that they might not find a job and they might have to come back, because most of the people who go, they want to settle there and have a job there.
Correct.
So how do you address these fears?
Yeah, so I mean, at least in counselings, what we mention to students is that, see, there are certain countries, there are certain courses that where it's helpful for you to have job experience, for you to have experience before you go into those degrees as a master's. Like for example, maybe the UK. The UK, a lot of times one of our students say she went to a university. She didn't go to the most flashiest university, but because she had an experience at JP Morgan for a year before she went, that helped her get a job, say, after her university. So in such cases it helps. But then there are also cases like in terms of, say, Australia. So Australia, then it's a 2-year degree. Within that 2-year degree, we focus on universities, say, that give you an exposure to the industry. So I think the main thing is not being disconnected from the industry. It's being exposed to the industry as you're studying as well. So if you go there, you study, you sit in your dorm room and all, you're not going to get a job. That even we lay out with students very well. The most important thing is, say, taking up part-time roles, taking up internships. That really shows like what you're willing to do, what your work ethic is, and also what you'd be providing for the company. If you just show that, okay, I have done this degree in this university, so give me a job, that's just not how it works. And there also, because through networking that we were discussing, that's how you get jobs. There's not going to be like how, say, we have placements and people come and recruit and go. It's all about like who you meet, your connections, your classmates. Someone can be at some company to give you a referral.
Yeah.
So those are the small moments that you have to look out for. It's not a blanket statement that you don't have experience, you won't get a job. It's a very nuanced statement that you need to look at what kind of course you're going for. And secondly, while you can be aware of geopolitical scenarios in each country, you will never know what's going to happen in 2-3 years. So when you actually graduate, what's going to be the situation there? We also can't tell you what's going to be the situation. We can make an educated guess. but what is actually going to be the situation is very different. So I think the most important thing of a student that goes abroad is they need to be adaptable. They need to be adaptable for any kind of situation that comes up. Don't over leverage where you're taking tons and tons of loans and like you have maybe a high amount of liability on your head after that. Try to make smarter options, try to finance your loans through certain ways, work part-time, finance yourselves so that you don't come out of it with such a heavy loan burden. So yeah, I mean that's a bit of my counselor side coming out of it, but yeah, it's not a blanket statement for sure that there are no jobs. It's just about, it's very nuanced from course to course and person to person. So
Okay.
I mean, see, job uncertainty is a real thing. I'm not going to deny that, but I'll try to keep it short. I'd say it all depends on whether you choose the right country, you choose the right course for that particular country, and you look at ROI. If you keep these three things in mind and you're very clear on that you are ready to do whatever it takes, you can go. So if you are ready to do what it takes, then go. And I'm saying this with so much confidence because 3 of my siblings have gone. So I vouch for them. They've all taken loans, right? None of them have they've all taken loans and then repaid their loans. And now they are in comfortable places. So hence I vouch for that even more. And of course, a lot of students are personal alumni through GradGuide, have gone, secured jobs. We've never got like a bad recommendation saying that, you ruined my life. Right? It's a serious thing. Like people, students could say that someday, but we've not got that so far, and I believe we do take out the time to guide students in that way, right? Like now we know that AI and AI, data science are things that are actually growing rapidly. So we guide students to go to certain universities where we know they'll actually help them with placements also. Plus that particular country also has a lot of job availability. So I think that's how it is.
yeah, and it's just like you have to be just adaptable. Don't let yourself stagnate in a course. You have to make sure that you're always doing something, keeping in touch, upskilling, and then getting a job after that. It's not like directly, yes, you will get a job, but if you do certain things, these small things right, the probability of you getting a payout towards the end is higher. So yeah, I think that's what it is.
So would you say, like, if you're comparing education in Mumbai and I mean anywhere in India or education abroad, so what do you think? Is it better over here? Like, I mean, definitely it'll be better there, but are the universities in Mumbai or all over India actually coming up to that standard as well?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a tricky question in the sense of like, so obviously we have the Indian education system in itself is based in a certain way of learning. For example, like if we have a course, we have these 7 subjects are taught in this semester. You finish this, you get the credits, you go to the next semester for the next 7 sets. Abroad, it's very different. You have core subjects, but you have a ton of electives, and you have a ton of like secondary subjects also that you can pick up. So, while at the master's level, it's not as fluid as bachelor's. Bachelor's is much more fluid where they have a foundation here. But at least at a master's level, you have the ability to, say, pick up more electives and learn more in areas where you have your interest. So they are very different education systems. I can't really say what's good, what's bad. I think each has its merits. I think for our audience maybe if we're looking at India, we're so focused on entrance exams and we're so focused on, okay, this mark will get me this thing. So the education system has kind of grown from that perspective. And abroad, it's a different system. So the education system has grown from that perspective. There are definitely advantages though. I think not just from education, but just from going abroad. You just get out of your comfort zone. In India, we stay with family. We know what breakfast is going to be in the morning. We know what dinner is going to be at night. while obviously like we moved across cities, so we've seen a bit of that life, but 80% of students that at least we speak to, they've not moved anywhere. So that exposure outside is also what helps a lot, and they're able to learn a lot from it. But yeah, I think that's my take on it.
Yeah. I think again, it really depends on your goal, first of all. So, I mean, it's not just the education system that defines whether you should go abroad or you should not. Depends on your goals. If you are someone who wants to continue to be in India, then an Indian education system can really get you somewhere. And again, top universities, of course. Networking is something that really helps. So, if I have to talk about study abroad as an industry, or whether you should study abroad or not, yeah, there are universities that would give you that quality of education that you might not necessarily receive in India. Like certain universities have case study methodology and things like that. But see, even networking is a very big thing. When you move abroad, you meet people from different countries, different places, even a lot of Indians. So that is also something that really helps. So a lot of people go abroad with the vision of networking, that I'll meet a lot of people and then come back. And if I do start something of my own, it would really help. So that is another thing that you can keep in mind. But yeah, there's no clear answer if you're asked, if that's what you're looking for. It depends on your goals. I think that's
So you guys have had it now pretty easy thinking about questions and everything. So we have a small rapid fire round and we'll wind up with that.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay.
Shoot.
So what would be a go-to order at the college canteen?
Oh,
on time.
I used to have Frankie.
Oh, for me, it's that pineapple shira
Sheena.
Wow.
from Anna's.
Oh yeah, correct.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try that out.
Yeah.
Why do you say pineapple shira like it's a bad?
No, I mean Sheera in itself is something different, and pineapple Sheera.
Oh.
It's a thing, dude.
I love
Sorry.
It is, but it's just too sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the fun. That's the fun.
Okay. Now describe each other using one emoji.
One emoji.
emoji.
Oh. Damn. That's a.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I would say that Chad is like that X. That face is like. Yeah, like always. Like I'm trying to think of something with energy. Like that would be.
I'm trying to think of something.
I would be the thinking one. Or I would be the. Okay, I won't prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, if I have to think fast, then it's a little difficult, dude. So what? For me, you've said the X one.
Yeah, the phase where.
Face with two X's. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ryan is the thinking one. Always, always. He gets lost a lot of
Yeah,
times.
that's true.
He's just lost in his own thoughts.
Yeah.
He'll zone out a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
True.
So if you had to collaborate or work with any person, dead or alive, who would that be?
Oh shit. Yeah. I mean, I have the perfect one. No. I think. I don't know. Should I give a generic answer of like a. The thing is, I would love to work with the Steve Jobs, but I would not like to work with the Steve Jobs because he's also known to be not a very nice founder. But yeah, like I would like to work with the Steve Jobs just to see what it's like.
okay. Wow.
Rapid one.
Okay, if it's rapid, yeah. Sorry. I think founder of Byju's. He could really help us out.
Considering by the situation.
Oof.
Yeah. See, that's what people think that Byju's didn't do really well. I want to put it that way, but something he did right. He moved fast, so that's something. I think that skill he can bring on the table. And when you make mistakes, we can learn from those mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
I genuinely believe that.
Like he's failed big.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so much to learn from
Yeah,
him. So
genuinely, I believe I can learn a lot from him.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. So I have no shame.
Well, that is all from our side. Thank you so much for
Nice.
joining us for our first episode. You guys have been really great. Thank you for taking out time and being here with us.
Thank you.
And also a special shout out to our team also at Xavier's Unplugged. And that is all. I'm your host, Lian.